we think when we are when we do something like that.
What's up, fight fans? The UFC is back, and I am in Houston, Texas. This is the Combat Connection. I'm Brett Cagle. That's Eddie Law, joined as always by Pat Dana as well. We're going to get into this UFC Houston card here this weekend, guys. In the main event, Sean Strickland returns from his suspension after he got into an altercation in a lower-level fight with one of his teammates afterwards. He's going to be returning against Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, fellas, who's riding an 8-fight win streak into this one, is one of the hottest fighters in this division. Just got through Roman Delija, Strickland's training partner at Extreme Couture. Pat, I'll go to you first on this one, man. How do you break this one down stylistically between the two, given the time off for Sean Strickland?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting fight because I know, it's like it's kind of the basic of you favor Strickland on the feet, you favor Fluffy on the ground, but I feel like it's a bit more than that too. Both of these guys have shown very good cardio throughout their entire UFC careers for the most part. And what I think would potentially be the difference maker is just how much time is spent on the feet versus on the ground. Fluffy has been very active in chasing those takedowns early, and I feel like he's going to need to more than ever in a fight against a guy like Strickland, because Strickland, we know, he's good for 5 rounds. He has a great gas tank. If he starts working the body a bit on Fluffy, where he's been a bit weaker in the past, I feel like he actually might have the better cardio as this fight goes later. But then again, if it gets taken to the ground, I could see it being the complete opposite of that. So this one is really interesting to me because it really depends on, I feel like, how aggressive Fluffy will come out, because we know Strickland's not really the most aggressive fighter.
Yeah, and Eddie, both these guys have two of the best gas tanks in this division right now. Do you see this as simply striker versus grappler?
Nah, dude. This is straight up. I mean, we know what we're gonna get, right? Fluffy he's gonna strike as long as he wants to. He's gonna get the takedown. He's gonna beat Sean up on the ground. I mean, Sean Strickland's got decent takedown defense. I don't know if you guys would agree with that, but I think it's decent at least, right? But what Sean Strickland does amazing is talk about, we're going to war. We're gonna try and kill each other. Murder will be had. Blood will be done. And then I'm gonna jab and teep kick you to freaking death. Sean Strickland is he's what do you want to call it? He's like a BS merchant. All right. He's telling me we're going to war. Me and Drickers are gonna try and literally kill each other. You mean hey Sean, you mean figuratively, right? You're gonna try and just kill each other competitively? No, we're gonna try and die. And I'm gonna teep kick and jab for 5 fucking rounds and then bitch when I lose. No respect, sir. Not for that. But if we're talking about the fight itself, gas tanks are great. Both guys can strike. Both guys can. One guy's better grappling than the other. I think we can agree on that. So the question is this: for how long does Fluffy Hernandez want to let Sean Strickland kick him in the nuts and teep him in the nuts, whatever it is, and jab him in the face? Not long, because just like Pat said, you do not want to be Fluffy Hernandez and take shots at the body for the entire fight. That's not going to help you. You got to the second he hurts you at the body, that's when Sean Strickland starts throwing bombs up top. So I'm with this whole thing. I'm with Fluffy Hernandez going in there and playing with Sean, not playing, but striking with him for a round or two, and then finding the way to the ground, and then making Sean Strickland work on the ground to get back to his feet. And if Sean can't do that, game over.
And Pat, how much stock do you put into the 2 fights? Obviously, they had a common opponent in Brendan Allen, 2 fights with Fluffy Hernandez, 1 fight with Sean Strickland. How much stock do you put into the outcomes of those fights?
I don't really put too much stock into the outcomes. I will say that the Brendan Allen fight was probably the most we've seen Fluffy Hernandez tested throughout his entire win streak. I mean, especially his last couple. He really didn't struggle at all with the Delija, Pereira, or Kopylov. He did struggle with Brendan Allen, especially early on with that grappling. So I think there's got to be some stock put into that. But for Strickland, I feel like it was so long ago. Like I don't really see the Allen fight really being prominent here for Strickland's case, but for Fluffy's case, if anything, it's more of a slight deterrent. But at the same time, Allen's a completely different stylistic fighter than Strickland, and the issues he gave Fluffy aren't issues Strickland is going to give Fluffy.
Yeah, I got to agree with that one. I'm not going to make a prediction in this fight this weekend, fellas, but Eddie, which way are you going?
I'm Fluffy, dude. Fluffy all day. Not just because he's Mexican, just because he's better than Sean Strickland. And he's not a teep kick and jab me to death, right? Anthony's actually going to try and kill this dude. Sean, I'm not convinced he will.
Which way are you going, Pat?
It's a tough one for me because the more I look at it, I do feel like Strickland has the better resume. He does have the wins over Izzy, over Imavov. He has a really strong resume. Like, I've kind of forgot how good Strickland's resume was. He makes you kind of forget that based on the way he fights sometimes, but he really does have a strong resume. Fluffy is obviously on a massive win streak, but the name value of some of those wins just isn't as prominent as some of the guys Strickland has beat. So that's where I'm kind of stuck with this, because I could see Strickland potentially pulling a levels kind of fight where it's like I'm used to fighting these high level guys, but I think Hernandez comes out very aggressive the way that you'd want him to. And if he does come out very aggressive from the opening bell and puts a pace on Strickland, I could see him wearing him down as the fight goes and getting the win. So I think I'm seeing Hernandez here, but it wouldn't shock me if, Strickland kind of did show that levels I was talking about there.
Yeah, I think this fight's probably going to go the distance. I'm not going to pick a winner per se, but I think both these guys have two of the best gas tanks, and I think they're very tough competitors. So highly doubt that either one gets the other guy out of there. Moving on down the card here, guys, we had kind of a co-main event here that you wouldn't normally expect. Uros Medic, 100% finish rate coming in here versus Geoff Neal, who's been on a little bit of a losing streak recently. Now he's fought the best guys in the divisions, the Ian Garys, the Carlos Prates, the Shavkat Rakhmanovs. Do you think that this is a step down in competition for Geoff Neal, and is this a get right fight for him, or are they kind of feeding him to the wolves and the new finisher in the division right now?
I personally think this is like if Strickland is going to show levels to Fluffy, I think Neal is going to show levels to Medic. Like Neal, I mean, yeah, he's lost 3 of his last 4 fights, but even in his wins before that, you look at the guys he's fought. Like I don't know if he's fought anyone as like low as Medic since maybe Mike Perry in 2019. He's just been fighting the top of the top. Like everyone he's fought is either a top 15 guy or was either a top 15 guy that was still not washed, I guess, except RDA. You could say he was kind of washed for that fight, but I don't know. I just feel like if Geoff Neal is still Geoff Neal and his chin isn't absolutely done, which I don't really have reason to think so, just because he got knocked out by Prates doesn't mean his chin is shot, So with that said, I think Neal is really going to show levels to Medic here. Uros is good, but he has chin issues of his own, and I think that Neal's probably just going to put it on him and really show him what a top 15 fighter looks like at the division.
Yeah, that was one of the topics of media day. He's been finished 3 times in the UFC already for Uros Medic. So, Eddie, do you think that Geoff Neal from Texas native, he's going to have the hometown crowd? Do you think he's going to be able to get Medic out of there this weekend?
I don't know, but I heard your disrespectful ass question at media day. What the hell was that? Is Uros Medic a step down? Bro, show Uros Medic some respect. Okay? Show him some respect. 2 straight finishes, right? 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Now, where it sucks is it's Gilbert Urbina and Musa Salikov. But
yeah,
still,
it's 2 straight.
Hey, no, but still, it's 2 straight finishes, right? Show some respect to my boy before he gets knocked the hell out this weekend. Because, goddamn, Geoff Neal's going to come in and make him look like he don't even belong in the UFC, man. Uros Medic is getting this fight at the perfect time off of 2 straight wins and finishes, right? Because then Dana's going to see him be like, maybe not Dana. Dana doesn't even work for the UFC anymore. But Hunter's going to look at this and be like, yeah, it's okay. Give him another fight. He didn't. 2 wins in a row. It's Geoff Neal. Hands of steel. What you gonna do, man? Let him do it. So yeah, Geoff Neal's gonna wreck my boy. But respect Uros Medic, please. Okay, this guy has a bright, I guess, couple years left in the UFC. He ain't gonna go past that. I don't see him as at that higher level. It's gonna be levels in this game.
Yeah, and to your point about the levels, Eddie, this is his first fight in a co-main event. Obviously, Geoff Neal's been in those high-profile fights before. Pat, do you see any way that Medic could he is a technical kickboxer, right? Like, he is good on the outside. He's a sniper. Do you think there's any way that maybe Geoff Neal is the more aggressive fighter, but Medic picks him apart from the outside?
I really don't. I mean, I'd be very surprised if that happened. Just with Medic overall, almost all of his finishes are in round 1. Almost all his fights and wins are finishes. Even the losses are finishes. So he's never went to a decision before. So I really just don't see a way that the longer this fight extends, the better he gets. I think if anything, he ends up landing a big shot on Neal probably in the first couple minutes, and that would be his path to victory here, which isn't impossible by any means, but I just also don't think he's Carlos Prates, and that's the only guy I've seen knock out Geoff Neal. So, and Neal talked about, at not even before media day, issues with addiction he's had for the past couple years and things like that. It seems like he's sober now. It seems like he's more focused than he's been these past couple years. I'd really expect to see Geoff Neal put a beating on Medic and probably finish him as it gets into round 2.
There you go. Eddie, you're going with Geoff Neal in this one. You think he gets it done by knockout?
Oh yeah. Second round knockout, it'll be over. I don't see it. Uros was surprised he was second in the co-main. He was like, he was talking about it. He looked surprised as hell. He was co-main. He was like, almost like he knew, like, I don't belong here. What are you guys doing to me? You get me knocked the hell out on national television or the internet anyway. Like, damn, right? But this fight is more important for Mr. Geoff Neal, who is, what is he, like 3-3 or 1-3 in his last 4? That's again, Ian Gary, Shavkat Rakhmonov, and Carlos Pettis, nothing to sniff at. But if nothing else, the UFC loves when you give them a reason to cut your ass. So Geoff Neal's going to come in on his hometown crowd, put a whooping on Medic, and then call for a title shot or something stupid. But either way, it's going to happen.
There you go. We're going to move on down the card to the next matchup here, the featured fight of the evening. Dan 50K Ige, who he's actually going to get a name change, fellas. He told us at Media Day, Bruce Buffer, if he's there announcing, is going to call him Dan 100 Grand Ige. So that's going to be the new nickname for Dan coming this week. That fight.
I love that.
This is not a great style matchup, in my opinion, for Dan Ige against Melky Costa. Melky Costa is a dangerous fighter on the feet. He showed it against Charrier with that big head kick knockout. And then he's one of the best Brazilian jiu-jitsu guys we've seen on the ground. And when I was talking to Eddie earlier in his fight before he fought Morgan, I told him, I was like, I think he reminds me a lot of Charles Oliveira. Earlier in his career, he took some losses to the Stevie Garcias and stuff. Since then, he's on a 5-fight win streak. The hands and the striking is catching up with the Brazilian jiu-jitsu skills on the ground. I think that Costa is one of the best prospects we have in the 145-pound division right now, Pat. What do you think? And do you think there's a possibility Dan Ige can turn back the clock here and beat Costa?
Costa has definitely surprised me from the start of his UFC career to now. I mean, I just never really expected him to be at the level he's currently at. He's looked great in that head kick over Charrier. Like, I said it after the fight. Like, if you gave me 50 guesses of how that fight was going to go, that was not going to be any of those 50 guesses. Like, that was very surprising to me. Ige is a really tough fight. It's, in my opinion, got to be the toughest of his career to this point. I think this is probably the closest fight on the card for me. I could really see this one going either way, honestly. I think Ige gets slept on a lot because he loses to all these top guys, and then it's like, he'll beat almost everyone else. And I feel like this is a kind of fight that Ige squeaks out a decision in. I could see both of these guys having success. Maybe even potentially this fight goes either way kind of decision. But I do think Dan Ige's veteran experience and just experience against top level guys is going to play out to be the more important thing that either of these two guys have coming into this fight. If Melk has success with the grappling, we've seen Ige get grappled in the past. It wouldn't shock me if he got Ige in some bad spots and ended up just top timing him or maybe even pulling off a finish, which I highly doubt, but he could do it, But I think I like Ige here to squeak out a pretty close decision.
You could probably make some money on that. I do need to. Do you have the odds in front of you, Pat? I'm here in Texas. They don't pop up for me.
I don't have them in front of me, but they're on I have them on Tapology, and Ige is plus 170 according to this, with Melk minus 220.
Hey, I love that. Texas, we're about freedom, but we don't have weed or gambling because that is the devil's work. Man, Texas.
All right, Eddie. So we were high on Melky Costa, but the thing is, Dan Ige's never been finished. Pat mentioned it, hasn't been finished. Might get we've seen him controlled on the ground, but he has not been finished. Do you think that Melky Costa can be the first to put Dan Ige out of there?
Absolutely. That's Melky freaking Costa. You were spot on when you compared him to Charles Oliveira. And it was one of those things where it's like, I think Mr. Dan Ige is getting fit to the wolves here a little bit. I think they're using Mr. Dan Ige as a little step up for Melky. I think their plan for Melky is to fire him up the ladder, get him going, get that featherweight division exciting again. There we go. That's a hat for you there, people. Make the featherweight the featherweight division exciting again. There you go. Melky Costa is going to be the guy to do it. They're going to use Dan Ige to as a bump up there, and poor Dan Ige probably sees his way out of the promotion pretty soon here. And when you look at it, 19-10, it's not a great record overall. And again, he fights all killers. It's no. I'm not throwing shade at Dan. I love Dan Ige. Dan Ige is the guy that stepped up on 3 hours' notice to scrap. And everyone loves that kind of stuff. However, being a company man gets you nothing but a cheap gold watch and a thank you on the way out the door, but they don't love you. They don't. All right. So Dan, unfortunately, is getting fed to the wolves here. Melky Costa, Melky's going to make a name off of him. and just keep bumping up the ladder. That's the plan for the UFC has for Melquizael Costa. Costa's going to be, he's learning English. He started today at media day. He's starting to work in his English. That guy, he knows. If you want to be a star in the UFC, you have to be able to appeal to American audiences, whatever your opinion is on that. But it has to happen that way. So, no, dude, Costa's going to, I honestly think Costa finds a finish in this one. I really do. Because Dan Ige hasn't shown, and I love Dan Ige, okay? Don't get me wrong. But Dan has showed little to no growth in his last 4 fights, and I haven't seen anything new for him. It's the same stuff every time. Jab, overhand right. Jab, overhand right. And maybe a couple shots to the body, but then jab, overhand right. Give me something different or just see your way to PFL, brother.
Yeah, Dan has kind of turned into the gatekeeper of this division. We talk about Neal Magny as kind of like the benchmark for gatekeepers, but Neal's able to stick around, right? There's not many 4-fight losing streaks in Neal's career, so Dan Ige does need to get back in the win column here. I will say this, Eddie, if he does leave the promotion, Dan Ige would be a motherfucker in bare knuckle.
Ooh, give me – hey, you know what? Forget PFL. That is the best – someone call Conor. You want Dan Ige and BKFC today. Holy shit. You know, hey, Dan, fight this one and be like, hey, guys, release me. I got to go make some real money, putting some hands on people because that Dan Ige will be scary in bare knuckle. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he definitely would be.
Moving on down the card here, fellas, we do have a heavyweight matchup between Sergei Spivac and Ante Delija. Now, the main talk around media day for the heavyweights was obviously Jailton Almeida got cut. There's a lot more pressure on the division right now for these guys to be entertaining and put on good fights for the fans. We brought that up to Sergei, and Sergei said, obviously, that's something I have to be concerned about, but I'm not worried about it. I got to go out there and win fights. What do you think about this, Pat? We're going to have Sergei Spivac here. He's a big guy, good grappler. On the feet, he's not going to want to stay there with Ante Delija, who's very quick, very fluid. We've seen him knock out guys in the past. I brought up the last fight he had with Waldo Cortez Acosta, which he won by knockout, and then he says was not an eye poke no matter what Cortez says. He still thinks that should have been a no contest, which I kind of agree with him, to be honest. I think Spivac's job's on the line here, short story, and I think that Ante Delija, if he wants to make a run in this promotion, he's got to do it right now, and he can't get turned back by Spivac. So I think there's a lot of high stakes in this matchup, but the casual fan isn't going to be as interested in it necessarily, in my opinion. Which way do you see this one, Pat?
It's a tough one for me because I don't know. I just don't know where Spivac's at this point in his career. He looked good earlier on in his UFC run. He's 1-3 in his last 4. The Waldo loss for Delija, I thought was BS too. I thought that should have been ruled a no contest. They clearly waved that fight off. I mean, Delija had a whole adrenaline dump and then had to go back in there and get boxed up by Waldo. That wasn't great. But I mean, they share a similar opponent with Waldo there because that's who Spivac last lost to. I don't know though. I think this is a weird one for me. I think obviously Spivac's going to want it get it to the ground. Delija is going to want to keep it on the feet. I lean that Delija does find the kill shot when they're standing on the feet. It's not like we've never seen Spivac knocked out before. We've seen him knocked out 4 times in the UFC. So it's not uncommon to see him get knocked out. Delija really hasn't been subbed, which I think is Spivac's best path to victory here. So if anything, I think I do lean Ante Delija here to win a KO. I'd probably say round 1, if anything, but maybe you could find it later in the fight. It's a tough one for me, though.
What about you, Eddie? Do you think this is the end of the road for Sergei Spivac if he loses this weekend?
I don't know, man. I'm just shocked you got him to say anything. Freaking hell, dude. That dude doesn't let the talk for shit. Do you guys know Sergei Spivac got mad at me 3 times because he claims I misspelled his name? And then I spelled it like everyone else did, and he somehow still got mad at me. So I was like, you know what, Sergei? It's cool, bro. Fuck off. But
I've seen his name spelled 30,000 different ways, by the way.
Yeah, why you mad at me, Sergei? What you mad about, dog? I get it. Just chill the fuck out, all right? I'll just call you Serg. You like Serg, Spivac, whatever, fuck. No, bottom line, it's just like you guys said. If the fight stays standing, Sergei is going 9-9. If the fight hits the ground, Ante might be in some trouble. To me, Ante's either takedown defense solid enough to stop Sergei, or can he get back to his friggin' feet? Which I don't know about you guys. I haven't watched a lot of Ante Delija, to be honest with you. So you guys tell me, can he get back up?
Yeah, I'd say his at least, I don't know. I think he probably could get back up, but I honestly think he'll just deny most of the grappling outright, if you want my complete honesty.
Well, if he can do that,
his hips will be a little too good.
Okay, if he can do that and keep himself upstanding, Sergei's getting knocked out. Yeah. At best case scenario, he gets pointed out and loses by decision. Bad luck for Sergei would be if he catches that nasty right hand right to the freaking dome and it's game over.
That's true. I mean, Sergei is a big man, right? Like we
Massive.
saw him at media today. That's a huge guy. So
Big
if he
dude.
does get Delija on his back there, like he was able to finish Derek Lewis by submit, he does have legit grappling skills as well. So look out for that. Obviously, if you're betting on this fight as well, we will be talking about Gina and Ronda here coming up after the predictions for UFC Houston this weekend. Eddie's got a lot to say about that, but we will be talking about it. It will be the second segment to our show today. Moving on down the card here, fellas, we have undefeated prospects here. Now, Pat, we're going to have to lean on you on this one for Josiah Harrell, but Jacobe Smith, the Big 12 champion coming over from Oklahoma State, obviously a great wrestler, undefeated here in the promotion. They're trying to ride him up the rankings here, but they're feeding him a guy who's 11-0, tackled a guy through a cage, I believe, in the LFA or whatever that promotion was that he had that viral moment in. Tell me a little bit about Josiah Harrell. At Media Day today, we learned about his brain issue that he was fighting through. Obviously, that hasn't played a factor yet in his fighting career. What do you know about him skill set wise as he matches up against Jacobe Smith this weekend?
Well, I would say the brain issue did cause a little bit of a factor in his fighting career, only because he was supposed to fight JDM a couple of years ago in the UFC, and the brain issue is what kept him out of that fight. He didn't fight for about a year and a half afterwards, and now, after a nice 4-fight win streak with an incredible performance in his last fight, we now get to see him in the UFC. He's a tough one for me, though, because I think I just did a write-up on him for the Prospect Vault, and he was one of the guys, one of the 5 fighters I said was UFC ready that fought in January. And here he is in the UFC in February. It did not take long to get him in. So that was pretty cool, but I feel like Jacobe Smith's a really tough matchup for him. Harrell's more of a grappler. He can stand on the feet. He can trade a little bit, but he's not a striker, and I don't know how comfortable he is striking for long periods of time. He's more of a, chain wrestling kind of guy. He likes to chain his takedowns together, likes to get on top, land some big ground and pound. The problem is I just feel like Jacobe Smith is better in that area, and I feel like he has a lot more power on the feet too. So I think Harrell's not going to want to strike with him for long because he knows he's at risk of getting knocked out by the power Smith has. And if it goes to the ground, I do favor Jacobe's wrestling just to take over in this fight. What I will say is I think Harrell's going to put it all on the line. This is a win-win situation for him. Losing to a guy like Jacobe Smith is not a big deal. And this is his first UFC fight. He's been trying to get back to the UFC ever since he got booted because of the brain injury. I think Harrell's really going to try to put it all on the line here, try to put on a fight of the night kind of performance and really just give us a show. And I think that hopefully that's what happens. I do lean Jacobe Smith to win a decision overall for my prediction, but with how short notice it is and the fact that I do think Smith kind of has him covered in all areas, I wouldn't be shocked if he does get him out of there.
My one question to you is Harrell a natural 170 or 5'7", obviously 170 pounds. Has he competed at 155 in the past?
I don't think he has. I think he's been 170 throughout his entire career. If anything, I think he spent some time at catchweight. Oh no, his first couple fights were actually at lightweight. His first 5-6 fights, something like that. And then he went up to welterweight for I think it was his LFA fight or something like that, and then stuck up there. So Harrell is very small for the weight class. That's a big part of it too.
You see him potentially going to 155 here?
I don't know. I feel like the brain injury is a scary thing, and I feel like with draining so much weight with the weight cut, like you know how that has an effect on the brain and everything. I feel like that might be a little too much, and that it might force him to stay at welterweight despite being mostly undersized for the weight class.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Do you think he can shock a lot of odds makers and everybody this weekend, Eddie? Are you going to go with Jacobe Smith, or do you think Josiah Harrell's got a chance?
Let me give you this.
Extra pressure, but I mean, some people are scared to die, I guess. If I do, then I get to be with the Lord. So I'm not too worried about me dying. I'm not too worried about me getting hurt, and that's a part of the game. Anything that could happen, I've already made peace with it. It's going to be those guys over there that are going to be worried or sad about it. Like that's where it is. So when it comes to just pressure, I don't mind that. When it comes to anxiety, I don't mind that. It's a part of the human body. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to show my abilities and do what I need to do to get that arm raised Saturday night.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is not a man that is afraid of a damn thing. All right. He's going in there talking about like, if I die, I'm gonna be with Lord. These guys are gonna be sad. That was the coldest shit I heard all day. I'm like, and it didn't come from a part of like a place where he's trying to intimidate Jacobe Smith. You're not intimidating Jacobe Smith. Jacobe Smith might be the most confident person on, like, the picture shows confidence for crying out loud. Like, he's confident as hell. You're not scaring that dude either. But the mindset Josiah Harrell is bringing into this fight is literally kill or be killed. Okay, literally. All right. The thing is, Jacobe Smith is a dog. And he's a scary dog on top of that. He's accurate. He's intentional. The violence of action that Jacobe Smith brings to the cage is some of the scariest stuff in this division. And the more he climbs up, the more guys are going to start ducking Jacobe Smith. You heard it here first. They're going to be ducking Jacobe Smith very, very soon, if not already. Now, Josiah Harrell's too small. I just don't see it. I mean, he's too small. When I saw like the height, when he first, the first, when he was supposed to first come in and fight JDM, when I saw the matchup, I was like, JDM's a skyscraper compared to this dude. What is going on with this guy? Why is he a 55er? It makes no sense. But Josiah doesn't care. He makes sure his style negates the height difference. Because what he wants to do is take your ass down, because on the ground, we're all the same height. It don't even matter, right? So, but the question is, can he get Jacobe Smith down? I don't see it. I think Jacobe's too strong, too talented on the feet. Josiah's going to eat a shit ton of jabs and right and crosses and everything before he can even get close enough to get him to the ground. It's going to be on Josiah to make something happen, put himself in danger, get to the legs, take him down, and hold him down. And I think that's going to be a tough ask. Give me Jacobe Smith. Jacobe Smith by finish.
Oof. I think it's going to be a good fight. Like you guys said, I think it's going to be more competitive than some people think.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But, guys, in this next contest, as we move down the card here, we're going to have a Texas shootout here between Michel Pereira, whose job is on the line, and Zachary Reese, who wants to make a statement here in front of his home state fans after what happened at UFC Noche with Cedricus Dumas. Obviously picked up a win against Jackson McVeigh, also by submission. But for Michel Pereira, he's fought in really good guys on this stretch where he's lost, right? Fluffy, some of these top-level competitors. It's a little bit of a step down, but he's got 34 more professional fights than Zachary Reese. And actually on Media Day, he was trying to tell us that he's got more fights than that they don't even have documented. So he's probably got around 50 fights more than Zachary Reese. But for me, guys, Zach Reese is a motivated guy. He's fighting in his home state. He's very athletic, 6'4" at 185 pounds. He is a big man. He's got good submission grappling skills. And on the feet, I think he fights southpaw. And I don't think that Michel Pereira is going to be able to buzzsaw through him like he's been able to do with prospects like Andre Petroski and guys in the past. So what do you think about this, Pat? Obviously, it's not the same matchup as Petroski. Petroski is a grappler. Both these guys are probably going to stand and trade with each other on the feet here. Do you favor Zachary Reese in this one, or do you think the experience will help Pereira?
I think this is a winner-go-home fight for Pereira. I mean, he's lost his last 3. He hasn't looked to be half the fighter that he was before that run. I mean, it really seems like Fluffy Hernandez kind of broke him, potentially, just like broke him mentally. I really don't know. But I think this is going to be it for him. If he can't put out a guy like Zach Reese, I don't know what his purpose would be in the UFC anymore. I mean, unless it should just get finished at this point. But a 4-fight losing streak is probably all it'll take. Reese, I don't think he's a bad fighter. I don't know. I don't think he'll give Pereira the issues that he's had against some of the guys he's recently fought. And Reese is tough. I think his submissions are better than his striking. The longer this stays on the feet, like the better chance Pereira has of knocking him out, in my opinion. But I really just don't see this one going long either way, because if Pereira loses, it's probably going to be pretty quick. I like Michel Pereira here to get back in the win column, but if he doesn't, I think there's some very serious conversations that need to be had about getting him out of the UFC at this point.
Which way are you going in this one, Eddie?
A lot of miles of Michel Pereira, right? Not just regular miles. We're talking like psycho miles. I mean, remember this guy? He tries to do flips and land heels on dudes and stuff. Like, he's a wild boy. He takes a lot of wild chances. I mean, it's so wild. Look, first of all, people don't realize that Michel Pereira is only, let me make sure I'm not messing this up, 32 years old. He's 32. Wow. But he's like a 40-year-old 32 in terms of miles, not in terms of up here, right? So his body's obviously, he's missed weight before. That Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fight that got canceled because Wonderboy didn't want to fight him because, Pereira was heavy. And then, but it still goes up. 3 straight victories, right? Then loses 3 in a row. That dreaded 3-fight losing streak is one of those things that can get you right out of the UFC. The problem is he's too damn entertaining. So I don't see Pereira getting cut, even if he loses this one, but 4 in a row, that you're going to be on the list. You're definitely on the line here. So he's coming in on what I'm trying to say, enemy territory. He's going into Texas. The big old don't mess with Texas. Oh, that garbage. Anyway, but look, man, entertaining, heavy hitter, super fun fight. This is going to be a scrap for as long as it goes. But how are you going to deny Zach Reese? This kid is talented and 6'4" at 185 pounds. That's like, I mean, how is John Jones? What, 6'5", 6'4", something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, right? So it's gonna be exciting fight and everything, but I like Zach Reese here to bring it for the hometown fans and all that. A lot of people think that fighting in your hometown is gonna bring you some kind of pressure because mom's watching, grandma's watching, grandpa's watching, the girl you used to date in high school is watching. You want to make sure you make her feel bad for dumping you and all that. It don't matter. Zach Reese would whoop this dude no matter where he's going. Now the chance obviously is, can Michel Pereira land a heavy, just clean shot on him, and can Zach Reese's chin withstand it? But I like Zach Reese on this one, man. I can't even put into words why I like him better than Pereira. All right. But it's gut feeling, called gut feeling. There you go.
There you go. Guys, we got another one we got to talk about here, especially before we get on to the early prelims. Chidi Njokuani is returning against Carlos Leal. Carlos Leal was knocked out bad by Muslim Salikov. Chidi's been up and down in his career as well. But guys, stylistically, I think this is going to be a pretty fun and entertaining fight for fans. I think this is going to be a pretty competitive fight on the feet. Chidi's very fast, southpaw, big straight left hand. Carlos Leal comes forward, very aggressive. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, the loss to Salikov is so baffling to me because that's the first time we've seen Leal get knocked out, and he's not known for that to happen. It's one of those things where I feel like if they fight 8 times or 10 times, Leal wins 8 of the times, and we just saw what happens the other 2 times there, which I don't know. It was just so uncharacteristic of Leal to get knocked out in a fight like that. I thought that was a really good fight for him. So, maybe he's losing a step here. I don't really know about that. Chidi's a tough matchup for him, though. Chidi's Leal likes to work in the clinch a bit. Chidi's one of the best clinch strikers in the UFC right now. He's really only shown weaknesses to grappling too in the UFC for the most part. That's really where a lot of his losses come from, is in the grappling. And I could see Leal grappling in this fight. I don't know if it'll be as often as he might need to get the win, but he has such an age experience here. The experience itself in terms of fights is pretty similar. I think this is a really close one, but I do like Leal here just a little bit because I think if he does work in some of that grappling, it will cause enough problems for Chidi that he won't want to let his hands go the way he would usually want to. And I don't know. I think I like Leal to win a decision here, but I could easily see either of these guys putting the other one out, to be honest. So I don't have a great read on this fight, but I do like Leal.
One of the things sticking out to me, Eddie, 6'3" versus 5'11". Is that going to matter at all?
Nah, because you know what Carlos Leal is going to do? Let me show you what Carlos Leal is going to do. I'll show you real quick. He's going to – you ever seen I Am Legend?
With Will Smith.
He's bringing the I Am Legend. Oh, damn it, stupid ad. He's bringing the I Am Legend. Whoa, that kind of stuff. He's bringing that heat on Chidi Njokuani. And then you know what's going to happen? Chidi's gonna get him in the clinch and just beat him up to the body over and over and over and over again and just break him down little by little. At that point, Leal's not going to be able to grapple. Why are we asking a guy who can't breathe to grapple? It ain't going to work. So it's going to be on Leal to bring the action. Take the fight to Chidi. You cannot let Chidi lead the dance. You cannot do it. He will pick you apart completely. So Carlos is going to have to really get in the heat here, get in the kitchen, put it on him early on, and try to get a finish because you do not want to let Chidi be in there in the second round, third round, and just picking you apart over and over again to that body. So, no, Carlos needs to make this happen. I don't see it. I think Chidi's going to not take him out. I think Chidi takes a decision in a very entertaining fight, mind you. Right? But hey, boys, go for it. 25K is on the line. Get yourself a finish.
All right. Phyllis, is there another fight on the card do you think we should discuss before moving on?
I like the Ramiz Brahimaj versus Puna Soriano fight. That one's a really interesting fight. I think that's way too low on the card for what it's worth. That's a really interesting one because Ramiz has looked incredible his past couple fights. What is he on a 3-fight winning streak? All pretty damn impressive finishes. Obviously, the competition could be a little bit better, but even against Vanderford, he looked very good. Puna's done the same thing, since he moved down to welterweight. He's had 3 big wins in a row, a big finish over Euros Medic, who Euros is in the co-main, and Puna's one of the first fights on the card. Always weird how that ends up working out. But I like this fight a lot. I really think that both present issues to the other on the ground and on the feet. I do think Puna's a lot more powerful, but I really think he's just like a big knockout artist. Like he really doesn't have a lot. He just has a big overhand, right? So I think this is going to be a more grappling heavy fight. And I'm really interested to see how this one plays out because I thought I liked Brahima at first, but then I don't know. It's been tough to think about this one because Puna's a really great grappler as well. He has more power on the feet. I could see this one really going either way, but I think Ramiz has looked awesome on this win streak, and I think we really might be seeing him turn another page in the book. So I do like Ramiz here, but I think that it's going to be a great fight while it lasts.
There you go, fight fans.
Dude, real quick,
Pat Dana with the break. What were you saying?
Sorry, on that fight, why is it so low? This is a hell of a fight. What is going on, UFC?
Always putting on bangers.
Dude, Puna's my guy. I love Puna. First of all, super cool guy. Like, he's one of the most violent guys in the UFC, in my opinion. And still afterwards, he'd be like, yeah, man, let's go get some food, man. Let's chill out. You know, sorry I broke your face. So sorry I broke your face, guy. Come on now. But super cool guy, super powerful. The move down to welterweight might be exactly what the doctor ordered for his career. 3 in a row with that kind of power. Dude, Ramiz better watch his P's and Q's. If he gets hit with this dude clean, it could be a good night. Good night, Irene, whatever you want to call it. But Ramiz is a dog. I can't wait for this fight. It's going to be great. By the way, Danny Vreeland, Gumby, Top Turtle, he interviewed him here this last week. It is up now on our YouTube channel. So after this show, all right, go down there to the videos. All right, scroll down. Ramiz Brahimaj, talk with Danny Vreeland. It was a good one. And then John Paul Posniani. This kid has a crazy pedigree. The guys that he's trained with, I mean, I interviewed him like a year and a half ago when he was in LFA fighting for the title thing. And the guy, his pedigree is insane. The resume is solid. He's been ready for the UFC. Finally making his UFC debut, and he has a tough matchup with Phil Rowe. Leposniani by decision, but still, he's getting his first time in the UFC on Saturday.
I just want to shout out too real quick. I love JPL. I think he's a really like he's a very well-rounded fighter. And like you said, Eddie, he was at the UFC PI for a while before he got his Contender Series shot. He's been training with these UFC guys for a bit. I think they really wanted him in the UFC. But I do want to say quick, if you go on Tapology and look at the matchups from picture side by side, that picture of JPL is the one I took from Contender Series. Not the one not the one when you click into his Tapology solely, but the one that's on the matchup section. That's my picture of JPL from when I was covering Contender Series. So that was pretty cool to see. I was happy to see that.
That is your picture.
Yes, that is my picture. So
dude, I edited that motherfucker.
Yeah, yes, you did. So I thought that was awesome, and it's just really cool to see JPL in the UFC. Yeah. He's been an exciting fighter on the regional scene for a bit.
Tapology. Send my boy a check, damn it.
One question I have for you on that fight, Pat. Phil Rowe, 6'3", big dude. What's the height on JPL?
I think he's around 6 foot. I'm checking now. 5'11". So 5'11". A couple inches shorter, but I think he's a bit more well-rounded. I think it's one of those things where if Rowe is putting a pace on him with the striking early, he could probably just take the fight to the ground and end up winning it there. But on the feet, I feel like it'll be a fun fight for sure. I think JPL will be able to hang with him in there. I think JPL just has more tools to win the fight. As simple as that. I think Rowe's a great veteran test for his UFC debut, and it's a tricky matchup, but I don't know. After that Ange Lusa fight, like Phil Rowe was getting beat up in that fight before the comeback. I didn't even expect Lusa to ever put the hands on him like that. So I don't know. I feel like he's been just going downhill a bit while JPL only has up to go. So that's what.
And YDV, Yadier del Valle, all right? He gonna come in, put it on Jordan Levitt, and then he's gonna go to his restaurant in Houston. Guys, Google it. All right, go get yourself a Cuban sandwich from my boy Del Valle's restaurant. All right, I heard it's fire. Haven't been in Houston yet to try it out, but damn it, go get you a sandwich.
You think his opponent's going to throw a fight this weekend, or
see? I feel so bad about that because he's a talented fighter. You know, like he is a good fighter, and it's not his fault.
His fault. Yeah,
it's not his fault that Dolgarian pulled that shit. You know, and he got so much flack from the fact that Dolgarian decided to pull some BS. Like I think he's talented. I'm really interested in him, so I feel bad for him for that. But hopefully he gets a big win here over Jordan Levitt and kind of changes the narrative around him a bit. You know,
the last thing you want to do is lose to Jordan Levitt and have that dude twerk on you. That's just damn.
I got a buddy who bet on that fight, the Yader Deval and Isaac Dogarian, but he bet Deval, and he's like, the whole week he's telling me Deval's better than him. What are you talking about, Deval? And he subs him in the first round, and he's like, I told you, and then he adamantly denies to this day that it was ever a fixed fight.
Okay.
Well, it's funny. I have a friend that saw the line movement, saw all the shady shit happening, and doubled down on his Bulgarian bet because he thought it was horse shit. So I have a friend that did the opposite there, and it did not work out well for him.
Boy.
Yeah. All right, guys, we got to talk about some big news coming out of the MMA world that broke literally this morning. Now, two of the biggest women in the history of our sport, Gina Carano and Ronda Rousey, are coming back out of retirement when both of them have not fought in the last 10 years. Obviously, Gina Carano last fought against Chris Cyborg in Strikeforce. Ronda Rousey last fought against Amanda Nunes in the UFC when she tried to come back and reclaim her title post the Holly Holm knockout. Guys, what version of these two fighters are we even going to see? Are you interested? Is this just 10 years too late? I am going to watch this. I think that it's going to be at least interesting, right? It's going to be on Netflix. They're going to hype it up. Ronda's going to talk some shit. Gina's going to come back after the situation that happened with her on Disney getting cut, and people are going to be behind her and watching her. So I think this is going to be a big fight, right? And we're all going to have to talk about it as it gets closer. We're going to have to do the articles. We're going to have to, talk about this for a couple months. So, guys, what do you think about the breaking news? Eddie, we'll go to you first. You've been covering both these girls longer than anybody.
Yeah, dude, look, this is a fight we wanted 10 years ago, maybe more, even 15 years ago. Christ, like when Ronda Rousey would just go through girls, just ripping arms left and right, hanging up on her wall and stuff like that. Like everyone was like, where is Gina Carano? Because everyone wanted to see someone that was a high-level striker to take on Ronda Rousey, right? Pretty well-rounded, honestly, overall, is Gina Carano. But her striking is, back in the day in Strikeforce, great, right? A girl that had that, yeah, there you go. Yeah, Destiny. But
the women are going to be hyped up for it, though. The girl, like
they should be.
The people who watch women's MMA, like people forget how big of a sensation Ronda Rousey was. Those little girls everywhere were going to Taekwondo classes, were going to judo classes. Like she was maybe the face of the whole promotion at the time.
She was. No, she absolutely was the face of the whole promotion. You could honestly argue she was the first biggest face of the UFC, I think, right? And it was one of those things where it's like it was groundbreaking. We've never seen a female come in as a female fighter. I can't talk today. A female fighter come in and do it not only with high skill, but incredible confidence, the ability and the willingness to get on the microphone and say what she believes, and just everything is in her head and her chest. Right? Comes in, runs through everybody. Unfortunately, before we could get this fight, runs into a scary Holly Holm, gets head kick knocked out. That was the beginning of a crazy kind of, literally dive. It was the weirdest, wildest thing to watch as a journalist. Now, in terms of this fight alone, forget the fact that it's way past they're way past the primes, obviously, right? You could at least argue they're kind of. I mean, I think Carano's only a couple of them, 3 or 4 years older than her. It's not like she's 50, right? So it's not the age was not a big deal. I think that on this fight, in my mind, this fight is more about history than it is about the actual fight. To me, this fight the actual fight's not going to mean much, but it's the fact that we have two eras finally meeting. I mean, how many times have we seen this before? Not much. How many times have we been like, man, imagine this. If you can get a prime Anderson Silva and a prime John Jones in the cage together, that would have been insane. We'll never get that, right? Now, we're not getting a prime Ronda Rousey and a prime Gina Carano, but we are getting them at similar levels with similar experience, not experience gap, but inactivity time, right? I think it's solid. So for the fact that I know everyone's going to shit on this fight, and that's fine. They can do it, whatever. For me, it's more about the story than it is about the actual fight. And the fact that, say what you want, people, Ronda did it again. She brought this fight to Netflix. All right, Dana, you had your chance. Ronda called you. Hey, Dana, come on, let's do this fight. Oh, I don't know. I'm doing this super boxing thing. I don't even know about the UFC anymore.
White House, yeah.
Hey, Jake, you want it? You want a big fight? I got Gina. Gina's in. You doing it? Jake's a lot of things, but he was smart enough to say, yeah, I want that fight. Let's do that. Yeah. Right? Huge fight. Forget about the fight itself. Look at the story. Look at the legacy. For the story alone, I can't wait to see it.
All right, Pat. So I've seen a lot of people online saying this is close to Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell 3 territory. What do you think about this? Are we going to see a competitive matchup, or is this going to be along the lines of Tito and Chuck like we saw promoted outside the UFC?
I could probably see it being closer to Tito and Chuck than, what it would have been like 10 years ago. But it's just crazy to me. Like, Gina Carano is way before my time as an MMA fan. I mean, I was 6 the last time she fought. Like, it's pretty crazy to think. Like, I was nowhere near into MMA or the UFC or anything like that. So I really can't say I know that much about Gina Carano, apart from watching her on The Mandalorian. I was a big fan of her role in that show. So I kind of am rooting for Carano on that alone because, big Star Wars fan here. So I don't know. It's definitely interesting to me. I feel like the biggest part of it, other than it being, a WMMA fight that's between two of the best women's fighters of all time, MVP getting into MMA is big. It's very big because now it gives another potential competitor. It gives, more opportunities. I'm really interested to see how the rest of this card is built. Obviously, we're going to get a random like 45-year-old versus 43-year-old heavyweight matchup of two former UFC guys.
You should put Gable on this.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know what's going on with Gable. He's in Mexico about to fight tomorrow. But
that's what I'm saying. He's the most talented dude around. You can get him for cheap, put him on the thing.
I like that you brought that up, though, because that's what I want to see on the undercard a bit more. I want to see, they'll have the names. They'll have maybe a Chris Weidman. They'll have a this, whatever they'll have. But I also want to see prospects. Some of the better prospects in the sport now that maybe haven't been signed to the UFC or won't get signed by the UFC, whatever it is, I want to see them give some of those guys a shot too on a card like this, because it can only help build those guys up. And if they really have some very skilled prospects on a card like this, I think it could really build a lot for a potential MVP MMA brand if that's where they want to move towards going forward. I was shocked, honestly, because I woke up in the morning, saw that this fight had been announced, and I was like, they're really having these two girls box? And then maybe an hour later, I looked at it again and I was like, oh, it's an MMA fight. I was like, that's actually really interesting. So I'm just happy in general that, we get to see Ronda back. I really haven't gotten to see her in my time the same way I haven't gotten to see Gina much. So it is pretty cool just to see two legends of women's MMA going at it. Obviously, it's past their prime, but I think it'll be good for the sport overall, to be honest.
Yeah, this is not Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Okay, this isn't who's this isn't like putting Valentina Shevchenko against Carano. This is not that at all. This is legitimately, they're both similar levels at this point, similar to inactivity. So again, like the comparisons that a lot of people are making don't make any sense to me. Right now, all you need to know, first of all, my back hurt the second Pat said he was 6 when Gino last fought. I watched that fight, bro. God damn. Anyway, but no, what you need to know about Gina Carano is I'll put it this way. Ronda is who Gina should have been, right? Gina should have been the first woman in the UFC, in my opinion. That's my opinion. This is straight up, okay? But the other thing you need to know about Gina Carano, she didn't say no to Cyborg. She took that fight. You know who said no to Cyborg? The other girl. That's what you need to know about Gina Carano. She is a badass, okay? Yeah. Badass chick.
That was what my point was going to bring up. Both these girls are mean, nasty competitors, right? So when they get in the cage, they're going to be trying to kill each other. Like Ronda Rousey has, you go look back at her record, she's got a litany of first-round finishes. Got Alexis Davis out of there in like 13 seconds. Got Kat Zingano out of there less than 10 seconds. So all action from both of these girls. They're going to try and win this fight violently. Now, Eddie, as far as Jake Paul in MMA is concerned, what type of production do you think we're going to get from an MMA event? Is it going to be on the level of a PFL? Obviously, there's going to be Netflix dollars behind it. What's your opinion of what we're going to see from these guys from MMA? We've seen a couple of their shows boxing-wise, so we kind of know what to expect. I don't know who they're going to bring in for as commentators or anything like that. But what's your expectation here from Jake Paul and Netflix?
First of all, give me a call, Jake. I got you. You want a commentator? I know I got a couple names ready to call. All right, give me a call. I'll be on there. Get a couple people. I can get Destiny on there. Why not? Let's do it. All right. But if this is going to be an MMA card, that is what I'm thinking. All right. I need to know if it's going to be a full MMA card. If it's a full MMA card, great. Then we have PFL-ish, better than PFL in my opinion, but PFL-ish kind of production. Okay. But if it's going to be one of these like MMA and boxing, where you're going to be like moving the ring. I mean, how are you going to do that? Who did that last time? Was it One Championship did that? Someone did that. Someone had
Bellator one night had a kickboxing
right.
event while they had an MMA event in the same stadium, I believe.
Yeah, in the same building. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So that was not great. I don't know if you guys remember that. That broadcast was kind of crap in my opinion. Great attempt though. I was proud of Scott Coker for even trying it. But if this is a full MMA card, that's what I see. If this is going to be one of those like, all right, look, we're going to do MMA in a ring because we're going to put a bunch of boxing matches, that is going to kind of take the MMA out of it. Does that make sense? If there's no cage, and there's no wall to work on where you can clinch and push them onto the fence and work the body or dive for takedowns. If you got to push them against the rope and they're just going to keep falling through, you might as well make it a boxing fight at that point. So it's got to be a full MMA card, in my opinion. And you're going to have the Netflix money behind it, obviously. And yeah, dude, I think it's gonna be interesting. But I like, I think, was it you, Brett, that made the point about MVP getting into MMA?
Me.
No, you. Sorry, Pat.
Yeah.
Pat. That is the move. I want to see Jake Paul do that. Okay, 2 reasons. One, that he's clearly found a way to bring in fighters from everywhere. And again, I'm not a big fan of the influencer fights, but hey, it is a thing. It is what it is. He could absolutely make MMA fights with influencers. That'd be entertaining to a lot of people. All right. And 2, it would probably piss off about Dana White.
So from what I've heard, this is just rumors as of now, but from what I'm hearing, a Diaz brother has been offered for the co-main event.
I was just going to tell you, you Pat, Mike Perry, Nate Diaz, no time limit.
I can see it. But
to the death.
Royce Gracie Sakuraba style.
I have heard that a Diaz brother was offered the co-main event slot for this fight. Maybe a Nick Diaz versus Tyron Woodley. I feel like that's something that would happen. Woodley still in there, but something like along those lines. But like to Eddie said, to Eddie's point there, he's bringing some star power. It seems like he's got the connections. He's got the
give
money.
him credit.
So I got to give him credit, and you also got to be happy about just the fact that there may be another player in the MMA space because, I mean, the UFC with the antitrust lawsuits, the monopoly and everything, it's not great for the sport. Having a monopoly is just not great for the sport. It's not great for the fighters. So anything that they can help compete with that would be massive, especially with people who have very deep pockets and very, very powerful presence on social media.
Yeah, Jake Paul, I guess, already self-induced the bankruptcy of his main competitor at this point, but with the PFL. But
oh boy,
I mean, his main competitor is going to go bankrupt because they gave him all their money. Like, that's the reality of the situation.
Chestnut checkers. Francis and Jake were in on it.
If you put it, swear to God, if you put Francis and Gable on this,
oof.
No. You do not want to ruin Gable Stevenson that early. Can you imagine if he gets?
Do you remember what they were doing to these guys in Pride back in the day? They were throwing motherfuckers with like 4 fights to Crow Cop.
Bro, hey, dude, no. True, but those contracts said we test for cocaine. Okay, so I can't do cocaine. Can I do steroids? All we test for. Hey, those contracts, dude, from Pride, they literally all said we only test for cocaine, nothing else. So the only person that would have gotten busted is Conor McGregor. That's it. And Chuck Liddell. Mr. Beast with the Facebook guy. I'll fight Mr. Beast. I can't stand his face. I'll fight Mr. Beast. Hey, Jake, call me up. Call me up. I want to match up with Mr. Beast and or Zuckerberg.
There you go.
I haven't fought in years, and I'll take that fight. Fuck out of here.
All right, guys. Sean Strickland was back. Obviously,
oh God!
And at media day, guys, like he went off, man. He was talking about Bad Bunny. He was talking about Max Crosby in the NFL.
But do you think that the winner of this fight should?
Here we go.
No, I'm not playing the video. Sorry, I'm not.
Okay. I asked him real quick about whether he thinks the winner of this fight should jump Imavov for a title shot. And here's kind of what Strickland had to say.
No, I'm not playing it because. No, dude, you know how fast YouTube's gonna drag our asses off the air for that
video instantly.
Oh, dude, he threw the F sir like 15 times. Not in this clip. I didn't put that clip at all because I'm just like, oh, I can't do it. Instagram's a little sensitive. But either way,
called Hamzat a terrorist. Basically said they don't want him at the White House. But
Imavov.
I'm sorry, Imavov called them both kind of terrorists. But
yeah.
Here's the thing, guys. If he wins this weekend, this White House card ain't building itself. And he's the biggest American star we got close to a championship right now outside of O'Malley. And I think O'Malley would probably be on that card against Jan as well. Now, those fights would kind of set up like Rocky, Ivan Drago type Russia versus America matchups, which I think would be pretty interesting on a White House card, given the circumstances of, the world environment. So now, would we win those matchups as American fighters? I don't know, maybe not, but I think that they would be something that would build a card and be interesting for fans to see. But as Sean's talking here, Pat, do you think that the winner of this fight should jump Imavov for a title? I'm not I'm on the train, the conductor of the Imavov hype train. I've been chugging this thing along for months, but I just see this from a mile away. They're going to throw an American on the White House card against Chimaev, I feel like.
I just think it's so stupid because I think Chimaev and Imavov should have fought in January, if you want my complete honesty. I think they should have fought already. The fight should have been done, and then they could say, okay, the winner of this definitely gets a title shot. There shouldn't have even been a question. Imavov deserved it. He's on an incredible win streak against the top guys in the weight classes. Looked great in all those fights. That's the one thing that Strickland said that I 100% agree with. If Chimaev's champ, he's probably only going to fight once a year, and this division isn't going to be as active as it should be for these title fights. That's the thing that seemingly is a big issue right now, because I think, like I said, that fight should have been done already. Chimaev took no damage against Dricus. I don't know if he ate 10 punches clean. The fifth round was all that Dricus had. It was in the last minute. He landed a couple good strikes, and that was it. Other than that, I don't see a reason why Chimaev has taken such time off. Now it's Ramadan coming up. He's not going to fight again for a little bit. It's like, I don't know. I'm not saying strip him. I'm not saying any of that yet, but it is annoying. I get where Strickland's coming from. There's not going to be many title fights at middleweight if this is the way things are going to go. That fight should have already been done and dusted. So in my opinion, I think Imavov deserves a title shot next, and that's what should happen. And then the winner of this fight can, I guess, wait for the after effect of that.
What do you think, Eddie?
Look, the thing about this fight is you guys seen that the Spider-Man meme? Fade over Kurt Angle. The Spider-Man meme where they're like pointing at each other. Okay, yeah. Same thing. One guy goes, "We're gonna kill each other. We're literally fighting to the death. There will be guts and blood, and then I'll jab you and kick you to death." The other guy goes, "I smash everybody. I kill everybody," and then he hugs Dricus for 5 freaking rounds. Okay, we have the BS merchants in that fight. I do not give 2 shits about Sean Strickland and Chimaev fighting each other. All right. But Sean made a very good point. Just like Pat said, the inactivity. You cannot have an inactive champion. That is not, we've seen inactive champions, right? Everyone was super pro Chimaev. I was at, Brett, you were in Chicago for UFC 319. I was covering it, right? At the presser, Chimaev started talking and the place exploded. It was deafening in that room. Deafening. I couldn't hear anything. They had to scream into the microphones to hear anything, right? So we got what we asked for as fans. He got in there, he won the title, and now we're sitting here going like, what the hell, dude? When are you gonna fight? Yeah, we got what we asked for. We got what we asked for. This is on us for constantly cheering a super boring dude, clearly, that sold us a bunch of crap. Now, if you guys remember, he was gone for a while during COVID. This guy got long COVID or whatever you want to call it. Bad. So is he still feeling the after effects of that? And then on top of that, it's not that he got injured in fights. He doesn't get injured in fights. Hamza Chimaev gets injured in training. That has always been his thing, right? Cain Velasquez, never injured in fights. Always injured in training, right? These kind of guys that train harder than their fights, I get it. That works because it makes the fight easier. But it's a double-edged sword. And the older you get, the harder it is to do. And the more taxing it is on your body. I can attest to that. I'm currently injured. Can't compete for shit. So it's one of those things where I could give a crap about that fight. I don't ever want to see that fight because it's gonna be sold to us like, oh, East versus West, and this guy is that guy, and it's Rocky story. Rocky was entertaining. I love those movies. That like Rocky 4, right?
I think it's 4-4. Yeah,
love that movie.
I think it's the best one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think so too. This fight will be nothing like that. So please miss me with this Strickland Chimaev thing. Now, Fluffy wins. We get Fluffy Chimaev. It should be Imavov. 100% on that. All right. And Brett's been hitting that Imavov drum for years now. Okay. It should have been Imavov already, and it should be at the White House. But if Fluffy wins this fight, I would love a Mexican dude fighting Hamza Chimaev for the title in front of I'm getting at.
That's great PR for Trump.
Amazing PR, right? Trump had to eat crow like a motherfucker. Right? It's okay, I get it. I was totally on his side. I got
Anthony Hernandez the title shot. I
gave him the title shot. All right, Mexicans are great. Look at me eat my taco salad on the plane. Didn't even take a bite because I can't chew because I got fake teeth and my tummy hurts. And I wear diapers. All right, cool. I'm done with that. Anyway, no, dude, I don't want to see it. I don't care for this at all. But Strickland is hilarious, right? He goes, the last real fucking American in the UFC. Yeah. Zachary Reese is cool too.
Zach Reese, guys, he had a pretty good media today. I didn't know his personality was as good as it is.
Zach is dope. People I don't know why they're surprised. Zach is a good dude, cool dude.
For what it's worth, too, Eddie, to your point, like, I obviously Strickland's entertaining. You know, he gets people riled up. He gets people talking. I just don't see how you could validly give him a title shot over Imavov if he beats Hernandez.
No,
I don't see it. Fluffy has a lot more of an argument.
He did beat Imavov.
Like he did beat Imavov, but he also lost to Dricus twice in recent fights. You know what I mean? And it's like I know MMA math isn't an actual thing, but I mean, really, look what Hamzat did to Dricus, and look what Dricus did to Strickland in the rematch. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you this. Someone send us a Nasruddin Imavov, okay? Brett, I know you got his phone number. Imavov, my boy, please go pick up some app. Learn just a little bit of English, please. I promise you. You learn a little bit of English. All right, Dana, or well, maybe not Dana, but the matchmakers and Hunter Campbell will have to give you a title shot. Damn it. Imavov, just learn a little bit of English, bro. To be a little marketable. That's it. That's the only reason he hasn't got a title shot, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was looking up today before I even asked the questions. I'm like, is this guy injured? What the hell is going on in this matchup? But I guess both of them stopped during Ramadan, stopped the contract negotiations. And now we're talking about in the summer if they're the guys that actually end up fighting for the belt. But, guys, we're going to go across a couple little just quick news flashes here before we end the show today. I don't know if you guys saw, but Tiki Gozin, former fighter, obviously competing in the UFC against Robbie Lawler and other guys, knocked out some streamer I've never heard of. It's obviously going viral. Sean Strickland talked about it today at Media Day. Basically said Tiki sucker punched a kid and that he's a pedo. So that's what he said.
That's what he said. No, you're spot on accurate. That's what he said.
But I don't know if you guys saw that. What did you make of that,
Pat? I'm still debating on whether that was like a publicity thing or not, because that dude got the shit slapped out of him for flirting with some dude's wife 24 hours before that. And it seems like Rampage is just kind of egging this whole thing on. So in my opinion, like, it could be just for attention, like, you know, like I'm not saying it was faked necessarily, but I think it might just be you know, fake, not like fake outrage kind of thing. Like, I don't know. I think it's really just an attention thing, because I don't know many people that have heard of this guy before 24 hours ago, you know. So I think it's some BS, but I mean, it's working, you know. It's obviously working to some degree. So I mean, I guess good for him. Yeah.
No, one side of people are like, yes, influencer got knocked out. I'm an adult. I'm a grown-ass man. That was a sucker punch I've ever seen one. However, the streamer asked for it. So, win-win, right? I mean, at this point. But the people don't know the story behind Tiki Goes and a lot of stuff. The reason Sean Strickland hates him, and Sean Strickland's gone in on Tiki before. A lot of people have. And if anyone's going to go ahead and put out anyone's dirty laundry, it's Sean freaking Strickland. So,
well, didn't Sean say some shit about him today at Media Day too?
Today.
That's what I said. He called him like a pedo or something. What did he call him? A
molester or something? Like, some shit.
There's allegations that cannot be proven at this moment. I don't think it can be proven at this moment of stuff that Tiki allegedly did. And there's a reason you don't see Tiki on anywhere. Like, you know, unlike Ali, who Ali's everywhere.
Well, I don't like Tiki.
You had shit to say about Ali today, too.
I personally don't like Tiki because he forced Brian Ortega and Aljo to fight after Ortega literally almost died at the weight cut. So like, I mean, obviously there's other things not to like him for, but that really killed it for me, because I was just like, what the, like, and that fight was awful. You know what I mean? It was just Aljo holding back, not wanting to finish, and obviously fucked up Ortega, you know? So that whole thing was ridiculous to me too. And I'm a big Ortega guy. So that was awful to see, in my opinion.
All the Tracy Cortez fans hate you now.
Oh, dude, no.
All right, guys, we got to move on here. Conor McGregor tweeted out that he has accepted an opponent and is waiting for the contract. Do you guys have any guesses for who Conor may be fighting? I got to assume it's the White House card, and if he's fighting on the White House card, my guess is Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah, I have the same guess as you there. I really think that it's not Chandler at this point, right? I think we can say that they've confidently moved past that. So, I mean, there has been some rumors or whatever that it is Masvidal, McGregor, or that's what they're looking to do, or whatever it is. I think that's got to be what it is, honestly. And I think that is a fairly interesting fight, because I feel like both guys are at very similar points. It's kind of like Eddie said, you know, similar levels of inactivity with the Carano Rousey fight. I feel like that is the fight to make if you are going to make a kind of fight like that. So I really wouldn't mind seeing a Conor Masvidal fight, but it really just doesn't like pull a lot of interest for me, honestly.
Yeah, it's stale. I wish it happened 3 or 4 years ago, and he maybe didn't fight Dustin that second time and would have came back against Jorge. That might have been interesting. But Eddie, what's the appetite for Conor McGregor even coming back? Are you interested in seeing Conor McGregor again, or is it just throw him to the land of lost toys?
All right. The last time I got excited about Conor McGregor fighting, he was coming back to fight Michael Chandler. You know why? Because I think Michael Chandler's been handed opportunity after opportunity. Don't know why. I mean, you guys tell me why. Because his record sucks, right? His record's terrible. Excuse me. In the UFC, it's terrible. It's like 2-5 or something, like some crazy number, whatever it is. Either way, I wanted that fight to happen, and for some reason, Conor McGregor hurt his pinky toe and pulled out. Yeah.
My foot was a balloon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he busted his pinky toe. He was all messed up, whatever, couldn't fight, which to me is insane, right? Because you keep telling us you're coming back, Conor. You keep telling us you're still that guy, Conor. You keep telling us you're going to be a champ again, Conor. You want to be now he wants to be the welterweight champion, whatever it is. I'm not buying it till Conor gets in there and they lock the door behind him. He can go to media day all he wants. He can make weight. I do not care. Until he gets in there, I do not care, and I'm not going to believe he's actually going to fight. That being said, I do want to see him back. Who doesn't want to see Conor McGregor back? He brought some of the best years in the UFC. 100%. You can't deny that. You can say a lot of things about Conor. You can't say
highest highs so far.
You can't say he didn't bring the sport to a ridiculously high level, and it hasn't been anywhere near that since. People used to ignore pressers. Conor enters the UFC. Pressers were the place to be. Pressers were the thing to watch. Lee loses, right? Stops rehearsing his lines, all this kind of stuff. No one's watching pressers anymore. No one cares. Right? There's no reason why. Either way, I don't know.
Yeah, there were 9 people there today, Eddie, at media day. If Conor McGregor in his prime was fighting, there might have been a 0 added to that. So
100%. So bottom line, if it's not Nate Diaz, I do not care. I'll watch it anyway, no problem. Right? Jorge Masvidal, though, last fight out, it didn't show me shit. So I need to see him against Nate just to complete the trilogy, at least to have the story together. All right, Conor probably wins it anyway. Right, and then you got to show me you actually want to fight. It's really hard, and I hate the cliche. I hate saying cliches, right? But it's very hard to get up at 5 a.m. when you're sleeping in satin sheets. Very, 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 very difficult. So, can Conor still have? Does he still have it? Who knows? Does he still have just the drive to do it? We'll see. But my prediction: we get another pullout. He don't make it.
All right, my next question is to you, Pat. Is Anthony Smith just like a glutton for punishment, or like what's
dude,
the BKFC tournament? He's fighting. This is a guy who can't like. All right, here we go. Anthony Smith I think Anthony Smith is a good commentator. I think he is entertaining on podcasts, and when he goes back and forth with Jamal Hill and people like that, he can stir up some talk in the community that gets people interested. But when he's not fighting, like I don't know if he's just like, oh, well, maybe does he not watch the last 4 fights that he had? Like he curled up in a ball in like 3 of them. He can't take punishment like he used to back in the day. The skills aren't there offensively to where he's able to pose an offensive threat. And I believe the last win he picked up was against Vitor Petrino when he put his head inside of a guillotine in one of the stupidest losses I've ever seen in UFC history. So I don't know why moving up a weight class, and now we're not even using gloves, that does not favor his fighting style and taking punishment, in my opinion. Now, the guys he's fighting aren't the most skilled in Chase Sherman and Muhammad Usman and some of these guys, and maybe he thinks he can just outskill them. But to the point of the no gloves, like if one of those big dudes hits you one time, like you're probably going to go down, you know? So Pat, what do you think about this situation with Anthony Smith? And do you think he should not be doing this?
I really couldn't tell you what the hell is going on anymore, to be honest. I don't know why Anthony Smith is doing this. Like you said, he was not able to take damage to end his UFC career. It just wasn't a thing that he could do. So the fact that he's now going to be trying to take some damage with bare knuckle, I mean, I just don't get it. But to your point, lower level of competition. You know, this isn't a great level of competition that's in this heavyweight tournament. And honestly, I think we're going to see a lot of guys not make it through the entire tournament. You know, we're going to see, like, let's say Anthony Smith beats Chase Sherman, but Smith gets a concussion or something like that. He gets pulled out for the next round and Chase Sherman goes on and takes his place. Like, you know, stuff like that. Like, I don't really see a bunch of these guys making it through the tournament, to be quite honest with you. But Anthony Smith, especially, like, I don't know what's going on anymore, to be quite honest. I don't understand how this is going to work out for him. I mean, if he somehow pulls it off, like, kudos to him. But I was just so shocked to see Anthony Smith coming back for, like you said, a bare knuckle fight. I don't really think it's going to fare well for him. But I mean, I guess there's a world where he could outskill these guys because he was on a higher level than all of these guys when he was in the UFC. So that's where I kind of sit on it, but I think it's kind of a joke, to be honest. I don't know.
I can tell you what happened. You want to know? All right, hang on one second. Hold on. Anthony, what's up, buddy? What you up to right now? Chilling at the Apex, calling these, just doing the death stuff. What's going on with you? Yeah, man, I got a fat check with your name on it to box someone bare knuckle. Who is it? Chaser. I'm in. Where do I show up? Sign me up. I'll do it. I don't care. I'll do it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how BKFC does negotiations. They go, hey, man, you want to fight? I don't know, man. How's this fat check feel? Yep, sign me up to do this shit.
This isn't Masvidal's bare knuckle, is it? This is bare knuckle MMA.
This is
game bread. Yeah. Oh, on top of that, they're boys. Hey, bro, what's going on with you, man? Nothing, man. I'm chilling out in Miami, man. What's going on, dog? Hey, man, I need a fight. You want a fat check? Yep. Let's do it. That's how it works. So, he's getting paid, and I hope he gets paid good, because if he gets messed up, that is some nasty damage this dude's about to suffer. And I still maintain, to this day, he should have taken that DQ against John Jones. Just saying.
I kind of agree
with
you there.
Fight fans, that's what were you saying, Pat?
No, I was just saying I kind of agree with Eddie on that. I saw a take recently that if he was ever holding the title, it would have probably worked out a lot better for his career than even if it was on a DQ like that, So
it worked for Aljo.
Yeah, exactly.
For Aljo.
All right, fight fans. Outside the UFC, we have Gable Stevenson fighting tomorrow night in Mexico, like Pat talked about. I don't know where you guys can watch that one. I'm sure there'll be some stream online. Maybe you can find something. But then we also do have a boxing match between Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios. If you guys are interested in boxing, that will be on Saturday as well. I do not know if a title is on the line there. But if you are a boxing fan, that is on this weekend. Guys, anything you want to add before we sign off tonight?
The Gable fight apparently will be broadcast on YouTube, from what I can tell. So, going to be easy access to watch at the very least, which is awesome. I mean, the only thing I'll say about that card is the card is buns, straight butt cheeks. Like there's not a single fight on that card that interests me other than the Gable card. So, I guess tune in for the main event. I don't know.
All right, I got some MMAprospects.com.
MMA Prospect Vault.
MMAprospectvault.com. I hit that up literally daily. I'm not even kidding. I really do. All right. Hit that up. My boy Pat Dana's on there. All right. Sean Bitter's on there. Nicholas Holt, one of the newest members of Cageside Press, is on there. And the newest member, I don't know if she's still on here. All right. Destiny McCubbin is the newest member of Cageside Press, joined today. All right. She's done a lot of stuff with Dirty Boxing, stuff like that. So she will be our newest contributor. So if you're still watching, welcome to the team. All right. Appreciate you. And you'll see a lot of her stuff coming up soon.
All right, fight fans, that's what we got for you this week. We will be back next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Talking to you about everything that happens here at UFC Houston and any breaking news that happens between now and next Wednesday. Thanks for joining us, fight fans, and we'll see you next time.
Cardinals, do something. I need a running back.